quite rich of informations. Okay, you may read the slide. Because the slide I think is about 60 plus slide for only this topic. I think for each topic there will be 60 and plus slide. Okay, I will not touch all because some of the slides are examples. I only touch the most significant and important, okay, to explain about the artificial intelligence or okay for today's topic, for today's topic. Okay, I will share with you now because I want you to get an overall understanding on what is AI, how AI is applied in the Islamic banking or Islamic finance industry. Okay, I will share my screen now. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Can
Yes,
I?
madam.
Yes, madam.
So 63 slide on the artificial intelligence. Okay, so basically this is examples of the history of artificial intelligence. It's basically have been started since the Greek time, okay, but in a different form. Okay, at these times, the Greek, I think, the authority at that time, dia punya raja dia, okay, wanted to build this one physical, not a robot, but just I can see like this to protect the country actually. But it's end up that this what I can see what is this? The story is here. They are the great god Hephaestus was so killed with hammer. This one they make a hammer. They built actually to defend or to protect them, but actually yang ni fell down. Okay. Then after that, in 1817, okay, the Mary Shelley grapple with artificial intelligence when she wrote Frankenstein about this. Okay, so after that in 1939, okay, so since 18, AI is already appear or propose in this world. Okay, and then in 1939, but in a different form lah. Not in now, is a virtual, but previously it is in physicals, artificial intelligence. It is artificial intelligence. Later on I will discuss why it is called intelligence. Okay, so in 1939 it's still a physicals, the artificials that built, and then in 2018 this one artificial intelligence virtual. Okay, I think this one also they made it physical robot called Sophia. The robot was activated in 2016. Okay, so previously it is in physical form, but nowadays it becomes in virtual forms. We can see this robot that can answer any questions in the website. Okay, in the website. Okay. Then like this, this also kinds of artificial intelligence where the system, the artificial system, the artificial intelligence is inbuilt in the car systems. They can drive on our behalf. Okay, and then we communicate with them. Okay, like for the apa nama dia, the Apple, they have a Siri. isn't it? And then the
Yes.
Google also we can ask Google kan. Google
Mm-mm.
also we can ask, and then it I say it lah because it is not human it can reply our questions. It is artificial intelligence. They have that an intelligence to to answer our questions, and then because the algorithm that built by the computer scientists that enable the systems to answer any questions critical, even indirect questions they can answer. Okay. Okay, so what is artificial intelligence? Artificial intelligence is a technology, as a technology. Okay, artificial intelligence is any system that exhibits behavior that could be interpreted as human intelligence, the ability to reason and learn. Previously, we only the when the computer is the computer system is introduced, they only act like they receive a data and then they give input without having ability to give a reason and learn and create a new model. Okay, it is straightforward, but nowadays it becomes intelligent because they just replicate the intelligence of human. Okay, to produce something new, like we have a data analytic, data analytic of social media. Okay, so the data that the social media gather, okay, through the uh, apa nama dia, data analytic, okay, the system able to generate what's the reasons people choose FB, what's the reason people choose Instagrams, or the Gen Z prefer to adopt Instagram for communications. Okay, they able to generate, analyze. Previously, no. The computer just use any input that stored with them, and then they just produce directly based on the input. But nowadays they able to do analysis, further analysis, why something happened, why it is so. Okay, why the price is goes up. Okay, and then why people spend a lot of times in front of computer nowadays compared to the previous time. They also able to make a comparisons why some things happen. Okay, so in artificial intelligence, it is an algorithm that tells the machine how to figure out answers to different issues or question. So computer, their main language is algorithms. Okay. Ah, so we are human beings. We think we use our brain, or apa to exchange input to becomes output. We translate the language. We use language, okay, to translate the input to become output. But in computer, they use algorithm. Without algorithm, the computer wouldn't be able to generate any output. So algorithm is very important. So basically the scientist, the computer programmer is their roles is to create algorithms for certain purpose. Usually like here we have Google Meet. So algorithm for Google Meet is created by the programmer to enable us to use it to translate my voice, okay, to you. Okay, using algorithm. Algorithm is like program lah. Okay, the language program. Okay, so an algorithm refers to a set of software encoded instructions. It is instructions that allow the machine to complete a certain task. So computer is only a machine. Without algorithms, they wouldn't be able lah to do anything. So they need to have the software, the coding. They have code, certain code, and then they made it The pool of coding or code, that becomes algorithm. Huh? Okay, so the intelligence from the data, how it derive intelligence. From the data, a raw facts or figures, the symbols and events, uh, the computer receive this, and then they become information, data presented in an organized fashion. They group the data and then understood the relationship, the patterns of the data, like we give a data on how many times people use FB daily. Okay, so hours, daily hours FB usage. And then what are the gender, which is generations, and then age of the user. So that become informations, they group the data. Okay, and after that, in the intelligence stage, the information is collected from every country. Like FB is used by all countries in the world. Okay, uh, and then information is collected from multiple sources. And intelligence stage is ability to compose relationships into models. Okay, so AI is actually achieve this stage. Intelligence, they can make a models of Malaysians user of social media, like that. Okay, so from the data they group it, become information. They are intelligent, they make analysis to produce a certain models of a scenario lah, certain scenario. Okay, okay, and then knowledge, the understood information that is useful, ability to identify relationship between models and composing them into a coherent whole to explain the visible part of the reality. Okay, basically the knowledge is gained by the human lah. We are the one that will use the knowledge. Yeah? And then wisdom, ability to make the best and most proper use of knowledge. So these are the learning experience. We are having a knowledge. Knowledge is not used by the machine. Okay, but they are now, because of the technology, the programmer able to create a special algorithm that can basically teach the machines to be intelligent like a human to do certain tasks. That is why when the AI is first introduced in 1950. In 1950, tak yalah, the popularity ni. Sekejap, wait. So, the term artificial intelligence is introduced by John McCarthy ni in 1955. Okay, about 70 years ago. We only heard about AI these few years, since maybe 2000, now is 2020, maybe 2016, 2015, we just heard about AI, but it's already coined or proposed by this expert, the computer scientist, in 1955 during a conference of artificial intelligence. Okay, apa yang nak cakap tadi ya? But what I want to inform. Okay, but this one is the chronology of the artificial intelligence lah. Because basically they have, under artificial intelligence, they have the subcomponents. So from artificial intelligence is a broader scope, and then the subsections of artificial intelligence is machine learning, and after that is deep learning. So these are all the roles of computer, the machine itself, basically to do a certain a task. Okay, in 1950s, when the artificial intelligence is introduced to many sectors, so it becomes it's a challenge to the workers, especially when they think that this artificial intelligence will replace their place. Meaning to say, maybe the rate of unemployment will be increased because the machine now able to do a task, their task. Okay, like a bank becomes no AI becomes a banker, like nowadays we have apa, previously the banks only have a branch with a officer that will give a service to the customer, but nowadays it is just enough for the banks to display the ATM machine. The machine itself have the artificial intelligence systems built in, actually to serve the customer, and also to answer any requests from the customer. Okay, uh, so they can slightly replace the roles of bank officer or the roles of operator at factory operator, like machines. So all the is a machine operating. So it is also dangerous for us to have this AI, but somehow how they differentiate between AI and human. Basically, they just maintain that AI is only a machine. Human is actually different from machine. Okay, uh, so that is why now is okay, but maybe certain task is done by the machine. Okay, machine just assistant to human. Okay, and then this one in until 2012, Google's have conducted their DeepMind project. So I want you to search what is actually Google's DeepMind project. Okay, big data era. So big data, and then 1997 Deep Blue defeats Gary Kasparov in chess. This one also AI also that is introduced. Okay, and then in 1993 the Hinton started working in a new field called deep learning. Deep learning, 19 maybe 1992. In 1988, and then expert system, the Hinton showed how multi-layered neurons could be trained efficiently. Now they was thinking like to basically to duplicate AI like human neuron systems. So AI pun ada neuron systems because they want to duplicate the human, but still they can't. This is a Western innovation. They try to replicate a humans. Like we always watch about apa nama dia, Iron Man. They built their own heart, isn't it? Uh, they want to replace the god's power. Uh, they always think about it. Mutant, cerita apa tu? Mutant, power, apa?
X-Men.
Apa?
Avengers.
Avengers kan? Avengers. So that is amongst the Western punya try to duplicate God's creations. Okay, but do you think the Avengers is real? they can only make movie, not a reality, not a real yet. They still have a lacking, not okay. in terms of, because they are not a god, the creator of the universe, they can make a robot, but they have still a lacking or deficiency in the technology that they try to build. Okay. So artificial intelligence. Artificial is something that is not original, isn't it? Artificial. Okay, not original, not a real, but they want to make it the intellect of that artificial, artificial that have intellect like human being. They try to put emotions in a robot, but it is not similar with human being. Okay. Testing machine intelligence. Imitation games. Imitation games. Okay, testing machine intelligence. Testing uh, imitation game. This one Turing test. I don't know what is this, but this one maybe they do you know games like apa nama dia, bird games, like if we say hello then they imitate our voice, kan? That is a try from the apa nama dia, in the using a telephone they try to make a human voice using a gaming. So it is they want to make artificial intelligence lah, like a human. And then weak AI and strong AI. Strong AI is a machine with human qualities, including self-awareness and emotions. And then the weak AI is enables machines to perform only specific tasks. If we ask them, if we ask it to do this, and then they only will do it. Okay, but the strong artificial intelligence, they will able to imitate humans qualities, maybe 70%, 80%, like I think Sophia. Sophia. Okay, maybe we can search any other AI that the Westerns or the computer scientists try to build to have a real human, real human being. Okay, learning over memorizations. Learning over memorization, this one, can you just think about in your context, you learn or you memorize? Learn and memorize, which one is you? Is it you really learn, or you only memorize? Okay, basically machines memorize whatever we save, it is in their memory, isn't it? Kan, computer memory. That is why we want to find a very high memory, kan? But how about learning? Is it machines or computer learn? Okay, now they want to make computer memorize and learning at the same time. They learns on the data. Whatever the data that we becomes inputs, they actually learn and analyze the data, and then they come up with a new models. They come up with a new knowledge based on the data that they receive. Okay, basically human, this is a human factor. It is a learning. But if we do not learn, we only memorize, we are same with a machine. But they are better than us because we memorize, then we forget, kan? If we do not recall it regularly. But machine, if once they memorize it, they will restore and they will remember it forever until we delete the data, isn't it? Okay, so they want to make the machine becomes a learner and they memorize and store the data, and also they learner of the data. Okay, this one about this one. Okay, these are the components of artificial intelligence. The biggest scope is artificial intelligence. Okay, all is the artificial things that is wanted to be intelligence, like human. And then subset of the artificial intelligence, we have a machine learning, and after that deep learning, more focus on the subject. Okay. Okay, we'll go one by one. So artificial intelligence is a broader area of computer science that aims to create a machines capable of learning how to solve a given problem. That is, machine acts in a smart way, using advanced decision-making process to go beyond specific instructions supplied by human operators. So human operators or the programmer, they just give a broad algorithm or broad equations on certain things lah to the computer. But the artificial intelligence is will use they go beyond the specific instructions. Okay, because they maybe it is or basically about setting also. But they not only follow the instruction, but they able to connect all the segments in the data in order to produce the requests by human lah, because later on people request data, the analysis, the output from the machine. Okay, this one now we talk about the internal part of the machine. Okay, how machine actually answer the request by people. Okay, and then after that, machine learning, however, is a subset of AI wherein the machine can produce a solution without the algorithm having been explicitly programmed. No specific algorithm needed. Okay, because this machine learn the data. So in machine learning, learns data representation is opposed to task-specific algorithm. It is not task-specific algorithms. It go beyond. And then deep learning is a subset of machine learning that achieve great power and flexibility by learning to represent the world as nested hierarchy of concept, with each concept defined in relation to simpler concept and more abstract representations computed in terms of less abstract one. Okay, so deep learning, it is more, I think, as I mentioned before, it is more deep analysis done. Okay, based on the data. Same, no need to have specific algorithms for the deep learning machine. This one advanced AI. Okay. Okay. So in machine learning, the traditional program is in computer, they receive input and the rules provided by the programmer using algorithm, and then they produce output. But in machine learning, it's actually they receive input and output, and then they generate a rules. They are the one that generate a rules. Okay, they make a analysis and summary. Okay. So in the traditional programming, computer is given data and algorithm composed of explicit instructions. Explicit, you do this and then this is happen. Okay, if people say yes, and this is the answer. If people no, this is the answer. Okay, based on the algorithm lah. How to interpret and understand the data. In other words, in the traditional programming, algorithm represent a static model of how to interpret data. In machine learning, computer is also given data and algorithm. However, that algorithm is composed of rules of how to build the model, while the computer is given the ability to independently build, tweak, and adjust the model in the process of trying to make sense out of data. Okay, they have the ability. Okay, so not only give instructions, but they can give suggestions. They can give suggestion. So in machine learning, machine independently creates a model of how to describe, interpret, and understand the data. So the computer is also given the ability to remember what it learned. Malah sebab ada memori kan. The primary components of machine learning, learner, the machine become learner. This one inside, not us. So learner, machine, data, the input for training and testing the machine, and for using the machine to interpret after training. So data basically from us lah. We give them data. Okay, maybe the data can be automatic data that they receive, or unautomatic manual data that we have to input in, we have to import to the machine. Okay, sometimes the data can be automatic data they receive from the maybe from the searching history they receive the data. And then algorithm, a mathematical formula that receive and analyze input data to predict outputs within an acceptable range. It is mathematic formula. And then the parameters condition that affect the way the algorithm works. Things of parameters as dial the machine can turn to control the operations of the algorithm. So basically the parameter is set by the programmer. Okay, the programmer will set the data maybe years. The data maybe we want to set for certain group of people. Okay, the condition that specified by the programmer lah, how they want the algorithm works. So hyperparameters, these are the parameters that can be learned from the data and are left to human practitioner. Hyperparameter is people that determine. Okay, because at first when we open up our laptop, we open the Google search engine. So we basically we type keywords. Kan? So the keyword is hyperparameter, meaning that we want to search only based on the keywords that we want. Okay, that are the parameter that we set. Then the machine will receive that parameter. Okay, and then they will work. And then the algorithm of searching information is already built in the Google search engine. And then the data is already there in a Google. So the machine learn. Okay, the machine learn how to search, how to interpret the keywords that requested by us. Okay, so they learn, they interpret, and they come up with a output dah. Okay, so model and algorithm with parameters that tell the machine how to process and interpret the input data. Okay, they will generate a model, not model for us. They will internally generate a model. Okay, searching this parameter for this year, 2000 until 2020, PDF files, and then about AI. So model, the new model. Okay, so no need to have a specific algorithms about this new search about the hyperparameter that we set. Okay, so the machine learn. Okay. Okay, so same how ML works. So when you feed the machine inputs with unknown outputs, the machine can now calculate, predict the output. Okay, so the machine creates a model that consists of the algorithm and parameters that most accurately calculate output based on the given input. Okay. Artificial neural networks. Artificial neural networks, ANN is an algorithm that imitates the human brain and has its own artificial neurons like the human brain. They connect. We have neuron, kan? Input layer, hidden layer and output layer connect each other. then they produce output. ANN is composed of the artificial neurons, semua artificial, bukan not a real one, because the artificial, we are real. So which physically are nothing more than special mathematical functions written in computer code. We have a real neuron in our mind, otak kan. But the artificial neuron is a special mathematical functions written in computer code. Who write the mathematical functions? Programmer lah. Programmer is basically they set the neuron of the program. So these artificial neurons are connected to each other in layers, similar to how neurons are layered in the human brain. If I'm doctor, I think I can explain the neuron of human brain, but unluckily I'm not doctor, so I can't explain about the human neuron. So neural networks contain 3 types of layers: input, hidden, and output layers. So the number of hidden layers can be very large. Deep learning neural networks will typically have a really large number of hidden layers. Deep learning, because their roles is more specialized and more deep learning from the word deep, deep learning. And then they can make synthesis, they can make suggestions. So each neuron in every layer is connected to every single neuron in the next layer. Macam ni. So individual neuron, perceptron and sigmoid neuron. Ni lagi more on technical lah. Okay. Getting to know an individual neuron, perceptron, essentially a single node, a building block in an artificial neural network. Okay ni. They have the perceptron acts like a tiny machine for making decision. It takes several inputs. Okay, this one input x1, x2 and x3, multiplies them with the corresponding weights. They have weights for each of the inputs here. This one input, and they total up and performs a mathematical functions on the result to produce output. This one output. Okay, they have options here. Okay, one by one. This is example lah. Like the first example, eating or not eating at the restaurant. So these are the options, parameters, parameter lah ni, option ni. So X1, whether or not the restaurant is clean. They put the parameter. Whether or not the restaurant is a Spanish versions of the produced offer Spanish version of the menu, X2. Whether or not there is a sombrero on the wall, topi tu. Okay. So X1, X2, X3. Okay. So this one maybe if we want to ask the machines to make decisions on our behalf, we give them input, this one. This is our parameter. We want to have all clean, ada Spanish menu and ada sombrero. Okay. So Y1 eat. Okay. If the result here is 1, then we eat at the restaurant. If Y equal to 0, do not eat. So all the parameters here we set in the system. We set using algorithm. This is algorithm. Okay. These algorithms will be set in the computer systems, like they have a special programs like Python. Okay, the program that can translate the algorithm here into the machine language. Okay, so this algorithm is translate or is written in the special software lah. Okay, they put it like this, and Y is equal to 1, and these equations, the algorithm. Okay, so let's say we put x1 if x1 after this tengok Okay, so X1 equal to 1 if the restaurant is clean. And X1 equal to -1 if it is dirty. X2 equal to 1 if it has Spanish versions of the menu. X2 equal to -1 if it does not. X3 equal to -1 if there is a sombrero, and X3 equal to 1 if it has no sombrero. Okay, so when we arrive at the destinations in front of the restaurant, okay, we inform the computer. X1 equal to -1, dirty. X2 equal to 1, the Spanish versions. X3 equal to -1, sombrero. They have a sombrero, the wall. Yeah. So they will tell us what is Y. Is it Y equal to 1, Y equal to 0? Okay, based on the equation that we inform the computer. So they give us the output Y equal to 1. So we make decision eat. Okay. So we ask, hello Google, um, should I eat in the restaurant? Yes, because in the systems, they already got the answer is 1, Y equals to 1. Okay, before they give us answer, they want input from us. X1, what? Dirty or clean? Wait, then we select dirty. Spanish or not? No. Sombrero or not? No. So they will tell us, please do not eat in this restaurant. Okay. So that's the basically the neural networks actually link between the input and output and all the options that they receive, all the data that they receive. Suppose this perception weighs all of those factors, x1, x2, and x3 equal to 1, and perform a simple addition subtraction function based on this one. So it lah, and we set the threshold, pula, the parameters that we set 2 or higher, then eat. If it is not achieved 2, so do not eat. They will tell us. Okay. This happens in internal, in the computer or in the system or in the artificial intelligence. Yeah. Inilah. These are the calculations. Okay. Based on okay. These are all the calculation, the internal calculations, how they run the equations. Givens like this. Givens 1, -1, clean, dirty. Based on this. This one clean. X2 got Spanish. 1 got Spanish, isn't it? This one no sombrero. So 10. Okay, so 10 is more than threshold 2, so it. Okay. So this one more on the sigmoid neuron. So more details on the internal part of the artificial intelligence or the machine learning itself. Okay, using sigmoid neuron. Okay. Okay. So ANN, what is ANN? Artificial. What is ANN?
Neuron network.
Networks. Okay, how it works, how it is used in financial services industry. So far, are you clear with the machine learning, with artificial intelligence?
Yes, madam.
At least you have you got a rough idea and understandings on artificial intelligence and the subset of artificial intelligence, which is machine learnings and deep learnings. Okay, so next times after you once you heard, then you know. Okay, artificial intelligence like to act as smarter smart like a human's thinking, okay, human acts and actions, and then they have a machine learnings that more, I think, the role is enhanced through machine learning and deep learning. Okay, so the computer would see the picture as nothing more than a combination of pixel. This one, they have a pixel, yes, small. These are the language of the computer. This is not our language lah. If it is gray scale image, some pixels will be black, some will be white, and some will be of different shades of gray. So this image thus can be presented as matrix that has the numerical value of each pixel. This matrix will become the input data. This matrix will become the input data. This one. Okay, so from low level features to high level features, this one, the neural network, like a human neuron. So they have an input layer, they have hidden layer, output layer. This one, how basically the information is transport to each other. Okay, they link information each other to produce output, basically, to produce output. That is why at the end of the day, at the end of the system, the network here, it is output. Output Y, Y1, Y2, Y9, and Y10. It is neuron network. They call artificial neural network. Network is artificial based on the pixel, based on the nodes that they have, nodes here ni. So what goes on the hidden layers? Each neuron in the hidden layer totals its inputs, multiplying them by weights, adds bias, perform a functions on the result, and passes its output to one or more neurons in the next layer. They transfer, and then they generate output. So initially, we assign random values for weights and bias. The machine learns by adjusting these weights and bias, and as it goes through training and through multiple iterations of testing. This one is job of the programmer. So neural networks learn things typically by a feedback process called back propagations. This process allows new networks to adjust their hidden layers of neurons in situations where the outcome doesn't match what the creator is hoping for, like a network design to recognize dogs misidentifies a cat, for example. So let's say if they among them connected and produce the output is not something that is expected, so they will go back and check among them. Okay, among them is the layers, the layer. Okay, the input layer, they will double check, and then they will go to the process again and then produce output. Okay. Okay. See, 625 input neurons and 20 hidden layers neurons. They are connected each other. Okay, these 12,500 connections are crucial because each connection can be dialed up or down to make the connection stronger or weaker. They will check all the information, the inputs here. So a lot of neural networks that they are actually committing each other. Okay. I pun tak dapat nak imagine. I cannot imagine how the system works. Actually. Okay. This is pixel. So use what is learned to perform more than one task. Okay. So in the above example, our network has learned to recognize numbers from 0 to 9. So however, in the process of training, it has learned to recognize those tiny edge and shapes from which all digits are composed. The beautiful part of it is that now this network can be potentially used to recognize more complex shapes other than just digits from 0 to 9. They are learning. The system is actually learned. So this because more complex shapes, even as complex as faces on a very basic level, will consist from the same edges are small lines. Okay, so that is why we give them 0 to 9, but they are learned and they generate new models, or they generate new connectivity among them, and then later on, if we ask some things not 0 to 9, okay, then they able to generate. Okay, so low level features very random. Mid level features, they are able to generate like nose, eyes, mouth, ears, and high level features, they finally able to generate one faces, human faces. Okay. So different types of learning: supervised learning, unsupervised learning, semi-supervised learning. This one this one not human learning but computer learning. Computer learning. Supervised learning, you feed the machine label data and dependent and independent variables. You supervise them. Okay, label the data. And unsupervised learning, the data is not labeled and the machine learning system must use an algorithm to find patterns in the data, natural clustering of the data to groups or classes. Unsupervised learning, they learn independently. Supervised, we give them and the data are already labeled. Semi-supervised learning, this approach combines supervised and unsupervised learning. You train the machine just a little bit so it gets a high level overview. Then the machine develops its own rules and strategies based on its examinations of the data. So how basically we train the machine? Huh? Any idea? How we train the machine? How we teach the machine?
By the system.
How? Using algorithm. Algorithm is the way how the human communicate with the system, with the machine, using algorithm. The programmer will will communicate with the system through algorithm. Okay, that is why. And then what is algorithm? Is equations, mathematical equation. So that is why the programmer need to love maths experts. Okay, they will utilize all the lesson that they have learned in maths to create the algorithms. 1 plus 1 equals 2. So 1 plus 1 equals 2. Then they actually translate with, if let's say one object plus the other object, then it becomes this object. And then this 1 equals to cat, for example. 2 equals to male cat and female cat. Okay, so if 1 plus 1 or male cat plus female cats, then it equals to 1 kitten. Something like that. So they actually translate our language, human language, to the computer language by informing the computer based on the human language. A is equal to what. So they use that the equations, okay, to solve or they inform the equations to the machine, and then to settle a certain issue, to create a models, like they want to find average. In average, what are the age of the students that sit for this class? Okay, so let's say A equals to brothers, B equal to sisters. Okay, now they find equations. A plus B divide by 2 equals to average, mean, isn't it? So all the equations is informed to the machines. Okay, and then later on when they ask the computer what is the average of age of the students in the class, so the computer will ask back what is what is the age of total age of brothers and total age of sisters we give. we give them 20 and 23. Then they will give output like maybe 21 average each in the class. Okay. So in order to create algorithms, the equations, everything need to be informed to the machine. This one equal to what? This one equal to what? And these are the equations. And then please calculate this. If this one equal to this one, if this one equal to one, because a different scenario, there will be a different input. But with the same or with a general algorithm, general equations. Okay, so one equation, one algorithm can solve many cases. Okay, just using one equations like we learn about equations, but we can use the equation for many cases, isn't it? Okay. So everything need to be informed. Algorithm is a language of the computer. So the programmer is need to be wise and need to inform the computer properly. Okay, the algorithm. So supervised learning is inform algorithm and label data. Unsupervised learning, no need to have, okay, no need to have algorithm. The data is no need to be labeled. Just we throw out all the data to them without algorithm. So the artificial intelligence, the system can produce, can cluster the data and then produce the output that needed without any assistance. Okay, itself. Okay, semi-supervised. We practice these two lah, supervised, label data, and slightly maybe general algorithm, and the rest we let the system do. Okay. Popular machine learning algorithms, machine learning, supervised, unsupervised. The category of algorithm classifications, the machine tries to figure out in which group a new input belongs. Regressions, find relationship between independent and dependent. Classify is classify lah, which group. Regression, the relationship of the data, right, of the input. Unsupervised learning, clustering, the machine segregates data with similar traits, move them into clusters. Okay, and then dimensionality reduction, the machine reduce the number of random variables under consideration. Dimensionality reduction, they reduce the number of random variables. Okay. What artificial neural network is good for? Excellent tool for finding patterns in data. Patterns, which are for too complex or numerous for a human programmer to extract and teach the machine to recognize the data of heartbeats. This one maybe how to detect heavy smoker ke kan, sebab we see the lung here, heavy smoker, a non-heavy smoker, to categorize or to analyze what level of the maybe heart cancer levels based on the X-ray data here. Okay, we ask them. And also this one, I don't know what is this. What is this? This is the car. I don't know. And this one, the patterns. What is this? Cat. Or we ask them to identify. We ask them to identify what is the pattern or the figure means present. Okay. Like say let's say the police find few proof of murder case, and then they give they scan, and then they inform the computer, the machines, to identify what is this, is this having DNA of other people or animals DNA, and then ask the computer actually to analyze the proof that they find. Okay. Practical applications of machine learning, data security, With machine learning, the security software can accurately identify newly created malware. Data security. And machine learning can identify whether we enter a correct or wrong password, username. It is for data security. Okay, we type a certain words, and then they will receive it, and then they will ask the neuron. They link with other data, we link with that, they link with that, because maybe we use the same laptop to key in our bank accounts, or password for bank, password for iMaklum, password for any password, FB password ke Instagram password. They will link it all, and then they will find, okay, one, okay, it's correct, it is password for iMaklum, then that's correct. Okay. And investing, machine learning software can identify smallest patterns of market anomalies and predict changes in the market and in price of individual stock and bonds. It can be used to make decision on the investment. Like we asked the software, so during this COVID-19, from March until October, for example, what the market trend will be, and what is the predictions in future for 1 month, for 2 months, second month, for 1 year. So for us to make decision on investment. And then online software development. So gathering data about how users interact with their software and analyze the data to improve the usability. Okay, software development. Maybe if you are a blogger, you have a blog, you have website, you can count the number of which of the topics that you have posted would be searched more or read more by the user, by the reader. Okay, so there will be a certain functions that present, okay, so many words here, so the bigger topics, so many topics, the bigger the most frequent search topic is about love, for example. So love words, love topics is presented bigger than other topics. Okay, so that's machine learning rules. Okay, they will identify. Okay, they will find pattern, they will find the pattern, they analyze the data. Okay, healthcare, diagnosing illnesses significantly earlier than they would otherwise be diagnosed to identify variables that predict whether a patient will develop a specific illness or not. So maybe for the medical checkup, the doctor can use any software or any technology that can detect the possibility of us to have certain illness. Okay, so it is the technology that the doctor, the hospital use. Okay, scanner ke, X-ray ke, or the blood test. But how they test the blood, they put into the machine will analyze our blood, and then they can find any illness. Okay. And then personalized marketing, analyzing and predicting a user's behavior, coming up with recommendations. Maybe in Google and in Facebook advertisement, Facebook ads, there are functions that enable us to analyze our user, our reader, okay, our buyer. So fraud detection and prevention, identify transaction patterns that are out of synchronized with a customer purchase history. So fraud detection pun, I think we have at our Google Gmail. Ada spam kan? Spam is actually the analysis from the AI. They analyze who are actually the sender of the email. And then if they are they having suspicious element, so they will put into spam mail. So online searches, Google and other online search site use machine learning to rank items in their search result. Which information appear first. Okay, online search. Smart device collect data regarding their usage and personalize their operation based on those pattern. Smart device collect data regarding their usage and personalize their operation based on those patterns. Like ni lah, like our Google Map or Waze. Waze, basically we type the location, we type the destination, isn't it? But if we type the same destinations repeatedly, they will simply group it as like our working, apa nama dia, tempat kerja. Okay, or our homes. Even we are not group it yet, but they group for us. Okay, I realized that I never put my address as my home address, but I found that the Google Map, the Waze actually group it as make it as my home address. Okay, or our Gombak IIUM as my working destinations, they group for us. Okay, because we key in the locations repeatedly. Okay, it is smart device. Okay, so far understands about artificial intelligence. Okay, artificial neural network in financial services industry. Citibanks, for example, use neural networks to find opportunities in financial markets by carefully examining historical stock market data with neural network software. Okay, so Citibank financial managers learn of interesting coincidence or small anomalies called market inefficiency. So the bank can also use for sure lah kan. So Visa, American Express and many other credit card companies use a neural network to spot peculiarities in individual accounts and follow up by checking for fraud. Insurance companies along with state compensations funds and other carriers use neural network software to identify fraud. The system search for patterns in billing charges, laboratory tests and frequency of office visit. Okay, so these are the common applications of the AI, robotics, and natural language processing and Internet of Things. Everything it becomes been technologized, something like that. Internet of Things. Semua guna internet. Okay, nak switch on the fans, switch off the fans, light semua, everything using internet. So I think you may just read the rest of the slide. This is example lah. Basically we have discussed lah. Internet of Things semua. Okay, let's say if you go to the, maybe after this, okay, I want you to go to the, like say this one. Okay, nampak ni, Gmail punya. Okay, so many things, apps here. Okay, I want you to click all of these items and do observations, not observations lah. You explore this one. This is artificial intelligence. Okay. Okay, so I think that's all for today. It's already 4:51. The rest of the slide you just read. Not many, business driver AI. So deep learning. Actually, I have covered the details on the artificial intelligence, and then there's the subset under AI. Okay. So far, any question?
No, madam.
No, madam.
Is it clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Clear? Yeah. Okay. Alhamdulillah. Okay. So no questions. We end our class here with Surah Al-As and Tasbih Kifarah. Stop. Just to know. Okay. Okay, thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you,
Thank you, madam.
madam.